Let me tell you something most people won't say out loud. The person who tries to control someone is usually the one with the least power. Real influence, real attraction, real psychological impact, it doesn't come from force. It comes from understanding how the human mind naturally works. And tonight, I'm going to show you 8 psychological rules that make you almost impossible to ignore. And here's the twist. They work on everyone. Men, women, confident people, even the ones who say they don't fall for anyone. Stay with me, because rule number 7 is where most people completely sabotage themselves. Let's begin. Before we dive deeper, a quick message. If you've been learning from my videos and you want to support this work, you can subscribe to me on Facebook with a paid membership, send stars, or join my YouTube channel's paid community. Your support helps me create more powerful content for you, and I truly appreciate every bit of it. All right, now let's continue. Rule 1. Scarcity creates value. Here's something uncomfortable. The more available you are, the less valuable you appear. Human psychology assigns value to what feels limited. Think about it. A limited edition item feels more desirable than one stacked floor to ceiling on a shelf. A restaurant with a waiting list feels more worth visiting than an empty one. People are no different. If you reply instantly every time, if you always adjust your schedule, if you're emotionally overexposed too early, you remove mystery. And mystery is emotional oxygen. Ever noticed how someone becomes more interesting the moment they pull back slightly? Exactly. This isn't about playing games. It's about having a life. When your time is genuinely full, when your energy is selective, when you're not waiting by the phone, you signal worth. And here's what most people misunderstand about this rule. Scarcity doesn't mean being cold. It doesn't mean ignoring people or being deliberately unavailable. It means you have things going on. It means your world doesn't stop spinning because one person texted you. You have passions, goals, friendships, a direction. When you move through life with that kind of momentum, people want to be part of it. Scarcity isn't manipulation. It's self-respect. Rule 2. Emotional self-control is magnetic. Nothing destabilizes attraction faster than emotional volatility. If small things trigger you, if jealousy controls you, if you overreact to silence, you communicate insecurity, and insecurity kills intrigue. But when you remain composed, when you respond instead of react, you create psychological tension. You know what's more powerful than a dramatic speech? A calm pause. Silence with confidence makes people wonder. And when people wonder, they lean in. Here's the deeper truth about this rule. Emotional regulation isn't about suppressing how you feel. It's about choosing how you express it. Anyone can explode. Anyone can spiral. Anyone can send the desperate 3 a.m. message. It takes a different kind of strength to sit with discomfort and say nothing. To feel the anxiety and not act on it. To feel the jealousy and not perform it. That restraint, that composure, it's one of the rarest things a person can witness in another human being. And rare things are remembered. Emotional control signals strength, and strength creates safety, and safety builds attachment. Rule 3. Let them invest. People value what they work for. If you do all the texting, all the planning, all the emotional labor, they don't invest. And what they don't invest in, they don't value. Ever chased someone who gave you barely anything back? You felt hooked, didn't you? Because your brain wanted return on investment. Now reverse that dynamic. Let them initiate sometimes. Let them suggest plans. Let them prove interest. But here's what this rule is really teaching you. When you do everything for someone, you're not being loving. You're being anxious. You're trying to secure an outcome by removing all friction. But friction isn't the enemy. A little friction is where connection gets built. When someone has to think about you to reach out, when someone has to make an effort to see you, when someone has to earn your time, they start to feel something real. Because effort creates emotional ownership. Healthy investment builds healthy attachment. Rule 4. Unpredictability increases attraction. The brain loves patterns, but it craves novelty. If you're fully predictable, you become background noise. But if you're slightly unpredictable, not chaotic, not unstable, just layered, you activate curiosity. Why do people rewatch mystery movies? Because uncertainty creates dopamine. Neuroscience actually confirms this. Variable reward, the kind where you're not sure what you're going to get, triggers more dopamine than a guaranteed reward every time. That's why slot machines are more addictive than vending machines. That's why the person who sometimes pulls back creates more longing than the one who's always right there. This doesn't mean you should be inconsistent or emotionally unreliable. It means you should be deep enough that people can't fully figure you out. Have layers, have dimensions, have opinions that surprise people, have interests that don't fit neatly into one box. Be warm, but not overly available. Be kind, but not overly agreeable. Be expressive, but not fully decoded. Depth keeps people engaged. Rule 5. Detachment is power. This one might sting. The person who needs the outcome less has more control. If you're desperate for validation, if you're terrified of losing someone, if your mood depends on their attention, they feel that. Energy communicates. Ever noticed how someone seems more attractive when they're not trying too hard? That's detachment in action. But let's go deeper here because this is the rule most people confuse. Detachment isn't coldness. It's not indifference. It's not pretending you don't care. It's emotional independence. It's the difference between wanting someone and needing them. Wanting someone is attractive. Needing someone is suffocating. When you genuinely have a full life, when you've done the inner work to feel okay on your own, when your happiness doesn't hinge on any one person's behavior, something shifts in how you carry yourself. You stop chasing reassurance. You stop interpreting every delayed reply as rejection. You stop shrinking yourself to keep someone comfortable. And people notice, not because you're performing confidence, but because you're actually grounded. When your happiness doesn't depend on one person, you radiate stability. And stability feels rare. And rare things? They pull people in. Rule 6. Social proof multiplies attraction. Humans are wired to follow social signals. If others respect you, if others enjoy your presence, if others value you, it increases perceived worth. You don't have to show off, but you do need a world beyond one person. Why do people suddenly want someone when others show interest? Because desirability is contagious. This goes back thousands of years in human psychology. Our ancestors survived in groups. Status within those groups meant access to resources, safety, and mates. So our brains evolved to pay close attention to how others respond to someone. If people laugh when you talk, that registers. If people light up when you walk into a room, that registers. If people seek your opinion, your company, your time, that registers. And it tells others, this person is worth paying attention to. You can't fake this, and you shouldn't try. But you can build it. Build friendships rooted in genuine connection. Build hobbies that put you around interesting people. Build a reputation for showing up with energy and integrity. Become someone whose presence improves the room. Attraction expands when your life expands. Rule 7. Mystery over oversharing. This is where most people ruin everything. They reveal too much, too fast. Trauma, insecurities, past heartbreak, future fantasies, everything they've ever feared, all within the first few weeks. When everything is exposed immediately, there's nothing left to discover. What keeps someone thinking about you at night? Unanswered questions. Here's the psychology behind this. When we fully understand something, our brain files it away and moves on. But when something is partially revealed, when we get a glimpse but not the whole picture, the brain obsesses. It fills in the gaps. It constructs a version of you. It comes back, again and again, trying to complete the picture. That's the power of mystery. And this rule isn't just about romance. In every social context, friendships, professional relationships, networking, the people who feel the most intriguing are the ones who leave something unexplored. They answer questions in ways that open more questions. They reveal just enough to be fascinating. They let the story unfold slowly. Share gradually, layer by layer. Let connection unfold. Mystery isn't secrecy, it's pacing. And pacing builds anticipation. And anticipation builds desire. Rule 8. Walk away if needed. This is the ultimate rule. If someone disrespects you repeatedly, if effort is one-sided, if you feel constantly anxious, be willing to walk away. Nothing increases perceived value like the ability to leave. Why do people often come back when you stop chasing? Because your absence creates contrast, and contrast creates clarity. When you're always there, people don't have to imagine your absence. They don't have to feel what the room is like without you. They don't have to notice what they've been taking for granted. Your absence does what your presence couldn't. It makes them feel the weight of losing you. But here's the truth that makes this rule different from all the others. You don't walk away to manipulate. If you're walking away as a tactic, that's still insecurity with a strategy attached. You walk away because you respect yourself enough to refuse what isn't working. You walk away because your standards are real, not performed. You walk away because you know your own worth, and you don't need someone else to confirm it. That kind of walking away? It's not bitter. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's clean. And it's deeply, deeply attractive. Because standards are attractive. Boundaries are attractive. People who protect their own peace are attractive. Now let me tell you something important. None of these rules are about controlling someone's mind. They're about controlling your own behavior. Because the strongest psychological position you can have is self-mastery. Think about the thread running through every single rule we just covered. Scarcity, controlling your availability. Emotional regulation, controlling your reactions. Investment, controlling your effort. Unpredictability, controlling your depth. Detachment, controlling your need. Social proof, controlling your world. Mystery, controlling your disclosure. Walking away, controlling your standards. Every single one comes back to you, not to them, to you. And this is what separates people who attract naturally from people who chase endlessly. The ones who attract have done the work internally. They've built something real inside themselves, a sense of self that doesn't collapse when someone pulls away, a sense of worth that doesn't depend on external validation, a life full enough that no single person can define it. When you master your reactions, your availability, your standards, your emotional regulation, people feel it, not because you've learned a trick, but because you've become someone worth feeling. Influence isn't force, it's presence, it's stability, it's mystery, it's boundaries. And when you combine all 8 rules, you don't chase, you attract. You don't manipulate, you magnetize. And that's far more powerful. Here's my challenge to you. Pick just one of these 8 rules, the one that stings the most when you read it, the one you instantly recognized in yourself, the one you've been violating without realizing it. Start there. Not all 8 at once, just one. Because real change doesn't come from trying to overhaul everything overnight. It comes from shifting one behavior, then another, until one day you look back and realize you're not the same person who used to wait anxiously by the phone. You're not the same person who overshared on the second date. You're not the same person who tolerated one-sided effort. You've become someone different, someone grounded, someone layered, someone with standards and the strength to hold them. And that person? They don't need to play games, because their presence is already the game changer. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most people. Now I want you to be honest. Which rule do you struggle with the most? Scarcity? Detachment? Oversharing? Comment it below. And if you want deeper truths about attraction, psychology, and modern relationship dynamics, make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and check out the other videos here. especially the one about emotional attachment signals, because once you understand human behavior, you stop guessing and you start moving with precision. I'll see you in the next one.